What's up, everybody? Lucian here with the Bullish Bears team. Gonna do a little recap of the markets and what's going on. So I'll give you a moment for you guys to come join on, and then I will get started in a couple moments. Just to give you guys a heads up here, this is a tool we like to use. You'll hear me saying it a bunch. TrendSpider. TrendSpider is an awesome charting tool that we like to use because it does these trend lines for you automatically, saves you a lot of time, and avoids a lot of the bias. Because many times as traders, again, what's up, Lidos? What's up, guys? Hey, what's going on? So we're biased, right? So sometimes we want to see something that's there, or sometimes we don't want to see something on charts that's there, and that's where our emotions can be very biased. So having a tool like TrendSpider just makes things very easy. Again, it's a paid tool, so if you don't have the money or you're brand new, there's lots of free charting tools. You can use Thinkorswim or freestockcharts.com or stockcharts.com. But like with anything, if you want to become a serious trader, or any type of career, it takes having some money to invest in the proper tools, right? If you're a doctor or a dentist or a veterinarian or electrician or whatever type of career, you got to have the proper tools. And having a charting tool like TrendSpider is it's an awesome tool. Just to show you guys, we'll have the link below, but you can go over to our website, look at tools. Right under tools, you will see, and my screen is a little bit, let's reset it. Right over here, you'll see our TrendSpider review under our tools section. You can check them out. There's a discount over there. But again, we just really love TrendSpider. Because you'll see as I start to show you guys these charts, some very important trend lines to keep an eye on. So at first, we're going to take a look right now at the SPY. All right, this tracks the overall market. And you'll see it's this weekly chart of the SPY. You can see prices hitting this lower trend line, but also be aware of this doji candle, right? That doji is a warning sign. Does not mean a stock market crash, does not mean a recession, but it is warning you, hey, the markets are overextended. We want to, it may want to retest possible support areas. Doesn't mean it's going to come all the way down like it did over here, but it's a possibility that it will. So we don't know, right? That's why this trend line right here, very, very important level of support that you would like to see hold if you're bullish on the markets. And if it holds, then you'd like to see it kind of fly up in the wind like this and keep going up. The fact of the matter is, at some point, like with anything, what goes up must come down. At some point does not mean, again, crash, doesn't mean a huge drop, but don't be surprised if we do see big drops like this. It's just because it's natural. It's natural for the market to want to go up, come back down, and want to retest these moving average support lines. Now, just because that's natural, so stuff like this right here, you can see back here in September of 2018 to January 2019, because this is natural to want to do this when the markets are up here and people take profits and other stuff that goes on, right? No, I'm not going to make the watch list. I was just going to show a recap of the markets here. Angel, you do an awesome watch list anyway, so... thank you, by the way. So just because this is natural, the markets want to do this, it's also not fun, right? It's also, big drops like this, going into an election year, if stuff like this were to happen, you're going to hear lots of talk about the sky falling and recession and all of those things if the market starts to do stuff like this. Now, do I know if the market's going to do something like that? No, I don't. That's why I look at the charts and I see these important support levels. And then you see these warnings of these doji spinning top candles. Thanks, Angel. And you can see just because something's happening now and it happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen again now. But it's warning signs, like right here, you can see back in this area when, market was getting near resistance, there's a few weeks of warnings before it came down. Right up in here, you didn't really have much of any warning. You just had that kind of this dark cloud or this bearish engulfing candle, and then it came right down. So this is a warning candle. So, it could go either way. We have no clue what it's going to do, but it's a warning that it's going to want to potentially start to come back and retest these levels. And that's why you got to look at these moving average support lines. Very, very important to keep an eye on. So let's also take a look at the daily candle or the daily charts. So daily charts right here, you can see kind of prices getting up near resistance on this angular resistance level up here. And then you can see price starting to fail. And you can see right here, this is what happened on Friday with the whole Iran stuff. Now, many of times, let's see how I could say this here. Many of times there are things that happen in our world that, maybe don't happen out of the blue. Not saying Friday happened that way, but sometimes a lot of that stuff's already foreshadowed in the charts, So it's kind of like almost like that buy the rumor, sell the news thing, where if, let's say, a sector like pot stocks or Bitcoin's running, and then the news hits and then the market drops, many times good news will drop the market, and you'll be like, why doesn't it keep going up? Also times the market might be at all-time highs and then bad news happens and then the market drops. There could be more than meets the eye with things that are going on. So that's why it's important to stay in touch, be aware of the news, but what's most important is learn these stock charts. This is what we teach you in our community, is learning these candlesticks and trend lines, because many of times when things happen, you can be aware of them ahead of time. So you can be aware of, again, overextended charts. When something's up really high, be aware of potential pullbacks. And many a times the news will hit to show the pullback, but it may have already been reflected in the charts ahead of time, right? So be aware of stuff like the weekly charts right over here. You can see this kind of this spinning top candle, so that when the following week something happens, like the stuff that happened this week, many of times it could have been warnings or foreshadowing, of something like this happening a week or two in advance. Doesn't mean, I'm not saying being conspiracy thing. I'm just saying the charts many a times give you clues to lots of things so that you don't have to be so surprised when things happen. So that's where you can see here, this daily chart, what you want to be aware of. Price is very overextended. It may want to retest these levels again. It wouldn't be surprising if it does. But also be aware of these this pattern right here. This is a very, very funky pattern. It's very odd looking pattern where you can possibly see a possible head, left shoulder, and right shoulder. You can see, if you see that kind of line that goes across right around that 323.81, you can see a head up top here, a left shoulder, and then a right shoulder here. With head and shoulders, they typically break down to the bearish side. Doesn't mean a crash, doesn't mean a huge drop, but you got to look at these support levels, right? Again, it's not fun when the market retests these levels, but it's also natural as well. And just remember, people react to news. So something that maybe is not a big deal, people might react. There could be sell-offs. So something that might be, a normal pullback or a sell-off could also create panic selling and stuff like this as well. So we have no clue. All I know is that, the market doesn't like uncertainty. What happened, and what's happening with just Iran alone, never mind an election season, causes uncertainty. Doesn't mean it's going to fall back like this, but it would be natural for it to want to do that. So just be aware when the markets are at all-time highs like this. You have to be very, very careful trading. Me personally, I don't really go long on anything like this. I trade very short-term until, I'd like to see, before I'd go long, I'd like to see stuff like this happen. I'd like to see the market pull back, retest these areas, or pull back down to the 20 or the 50 down, 20 EMA or 50, and then reverse and come back up and then get a retest of this 9 EMA and give me a nice little bull flag. Then I'd go long on something like this, these little candlesticks off of support levels with a bull flag, right? You see these kind of bull flag patterns, and then you can ride that 9 EMA. But if you look up over here, the candlesticks are much bigger. They're not small, and they've been like way away from these moving average lines. This is very risky. Doesn't mean you can't make money this way. You just have to have a good risk tolerance. And me personally, I don't like risk like that. I like these bull flags off the 9 EMA, get a good entry, and then I can ride that 9, on the way up. So this is what, you look for in the markets. The markets are very risky right now. So, me personally, again, for me to feel more comfortable going long term, again, just me, I'd like to see some of these levels being tested, even down this lower trend line, up, down in here, do something like this. It doesn't have to go all the way back down like this per se, but, I'd like to see some of this come down a little bit more. So just be aware of that when you're looking at the chart. So that's with the SPY. Let's take a look at, let's go over Thinkorswim. I like the charts for Bitcoin on Thinkorswim a little bit better. /BTC. So Bitcoin, you can see kind of this falling wedge, big, huge falling wedge pattern on the daily. And you can see prices, you can see kind of it's hitting this resistance level. It may want to break out. We'll have to see. You got to see if it can break out of that 7,600 level, and then see about that 50 SMA and the 200 SMA as resistance levels right up over in here. I'm not sure why my chart keeps moving. That's very frustrating. So up in here, what the heck is going on with my charts? You guys see that every time I go up over here, it seems to move. Up in here, you'd like to see, if price can break out of that falling wedge. You can also see kind of an inverse head and shoulders, right? A left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. And then you can kind of just extend this neckline. And if you look at this neckline over here, it actually extends out to the 50 SMA. So got to watch again. You got to be very careful. You have to have the stomach to be able to trade Bitcoin like this. So if you're using my strategy of like that bull flag, maybe you would have looked right in here, but there's like so much overhead resistance. So I like stuff like this, right? So kind of these little small candles with the 9 EMA over the 20, get in at lower support, and then ride it up and decide when I'm going to take my profits. Again, that's just me. But for the Bitcoin sector, it's very, very volatile. It pumps and dumps very quickly. So if you're bullish on it, you just got to be aware of all this overhead resistance. It's just very risky on, you can see these candles in the wicks. Doesn't mean it won't break out, it won't move. It's just, you got to be very, very quick on the trigger. So, right, Angel? Let's look at gold. So gold has been creeping its way up. Actually, let me go to TrendSpider. Make it easier. GLD. So you can see gold on the daily charts. You got to be very careful right now. It's a bit risky. So a lot of people might say, well, hey, with all the uncertainty going on, why didn't gold skyrocket on Friday, right? Well, it's kind of that buy the rumor, sell the news thing, right? It's been creeping up. It's very overextended, and it's at a very, very important resistance level right up over here. So remember, buy low, sell high. If you buy way out here, it's riskier because it's at resistance. It's not testing support levels. Doesn't mean it won't go and break out above this resistance level, but you have to watch, right? And that's why this is kind of like that whole rumor or the whole thing with just the whole adage of buying and selling stocks. If you buy at ceiling levels or resistance levels, that's where the risk is. You want to buy nearer to support levels off those like kind of those bull flags, smaller candlesticks, and then you can kind of decide as it's breaking out when you're going to take your profit. But the problem is many new traders come in and they hear news, they hear hype, and they buy at these candles at resistance levels, and then it, price starts to fall and drop, and then they wonder what's going on. It's because they didn't buy low and sell high. It's as simple as that, guys, right? These charts, the charts do not lie. So the charts are not biased. They don't lie. This is just a culmination of buyers and sellers in the stock market, right? You can't hide buying and selling from the charts. What's up, XXYY? I can see you. You can't hide the buying and selling on charts, all right? But it's our bias, it's our trading decisions or the trading decisions we have other people do for us that is biased. So, once you learn these candles and these patterns and these trend lines, then you can make educated trading decisions and realize, when you look up here and you're like, well, hey, that's a doji candle at resistance. That's a warning that it might want to reverse. It could break out. We got to watch the next candle on the daily and see if the candle can break above that 146.70 level and continue up. But what goes up naturally also wants to come down. So you can see these levels here. Maybe it don't want to retest. It may want to retest this gap again and wait for the moving average lines to catch up. We got to watch and see. But it's at resistance levels out here. So gold, it may want to reverse and retest. Doesn't mean a crash, doesn't mean a dump. It just may want to retest some of these levels down. We got to watch and see. But, that's a daily chart. If you look at a weekly chart, again, couple big green candlesticks, on the way up, and it's nearer to resistance out here. So don't be surprised if it hits resistance and wants to pull back. So again, remember, people take profit along the way. So, that's why if you're like, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to the moon, or, pot stocks are going to go to the moon, I'm going to buy and hold forever because I'm going to be a Bitcoin or a marijuana stock or a gold millionaire. That's very dangerous mentality because remember, people take profit along the way, and eventually as you're, go from being a new trader to, and not having that greed mentality, you just realize along the way, it's as simple as people buy low and they sell high and they take profits. So the market's not out to get you. The market's not out to take your money. It's not doing anything. This is all, again, when you look at the stock market and you see these patterns and everything, this is all a culmination of all the buyers and sellers in the world, right? They're coming in. This right here, the SPY gold, does not want to take your money. It's just showing you candlesticks and trend lines, and then you decide your own trading decisions, right? Is that making sense to you guys? Hopefully this is helping you guys. I'll give you guys a couple minutes if you guys want to catch up or if you have any questions. Let me take a look at Apple as we are looking here. Apple, again, very, very popular stock that runs with the markets. Actually, let me edit something here. What happened? So Apple, again, weekly, just all-time highs, a very, very important level, $300, guys, very important whole dollar amount. Super overextended. Don't be surprised if Apple wants to retest and fall to these levels. That's why you want to be very careful, guys. You want to buy low, sell high, right? Yes, we do. We do swing trades as well. So if you look on our site here, we do, first of all, we have thousands of dollars of free courses. We do a nightly day trade and swing trade alert setups right here. So we give you setups on what we're looking for on our day trade and swing trade watch list. Excuse me. As well as we do real-time swing trade alerts. Typically with options, you could do shares instead if you'd like. So we do real-time alerts in here. So you could follow along with our alerts. And then we do, we have a day trade and a swing trade room that we do live streaming, and we talk, our trades and what we're looking at daily here. So we're a full scale trading company if you want to check us out. So if you guys look again, so Apple all-time high is $300, right? Don't be surprised if people start taking their profits, right? So, when something, if you think about it, if somebody buys Apple at $250, and it gets to $300, right? It's only natural for people to want to take their profits. Doesn't mean a crash, doesn't mean a huge dump, but people buy low at support levels and then they sell high. And then you look right here in this daily chart, there are tweezer tops right here on a daily chart. That's a huge warning sign. It's as simple as that. Doesn't mean a crash, but don't be surprised if Apple right here, because you can see this candlestick didn't break the other one at $300. So right now you have tweezer tops. Don't be surprised if it starts to try to retest these levels. It doesn't mean it's going to fall all the way down here. It could, but it doesn't mean that it will. Look for these little candlesticks off moving average lines. Buy near support levels, right? Near these moving average lines off bull flags. And then when price breaks out, consider taking your profits, especially when you're at a massive resistance level. Hey, Gus, how's it going? At $300, so this tweezer tops at $300 when market's at all-time highs. Remember, Apple runs with the markets typically. So if you look at Apple and then you look at the SPY and you see the SPY is retesting or near these support levels with a possible head and shoulders pattern, if the market starts to roll over a little bit, don't be surprised if Apple goes with it. It typically will. This is where, again, you guys, you don't run off of emotions. You don't listen to hype. You learn the charts. And that's why we're typically more technical traders over fundamental traders. Awesome to hear, Gus. Not because we don't believe in fundamental trading. It's just, whenever a fundamentalist buys and sells a stock, they leave clues right on the charts. If you can learn to read the charts, you don't necessarily need to know the fundamentals. It's good to know them, but it's all about, right, looking at the patterns, see these little support levels, decide if you're going to get an entry, maybe do your fundamental research, see if you like it, see how Apple's doing fundamentally, and then you can see, oh, okay, cool. Along the way, if I get a low, entry, then as it breaks out, I consider taking my profits. Buy low, sell high for profit. Right? So this is where, again, when you look at hype and you go things to like Bitcoin, going back to Bitcoin, this is where you got to be careful of hype, because a lot of times this is what hype looks like, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. The rumor keeps going. It keeps pumping up. And then it just it dumps down. These candlesticks get bigger. People take their profit. And what happens is new traders get caught up here. Professional traders, people that know how to trade, they don't buy out here at resistance. They buy down in these levels, right? These little candlesticks off of support levels. And then as price breaks out, they take their profits. New traders buy way out here. They buy way out here. They buy out here. Good professional people that know that what they're doing, they buy at support levels right down in here, these little candlesticks off of support levels. And then when price breaks out, they take their profits, right? Hopefully this is helping you guys. Do you have any questions along the way? Actually, let me pull up USO oil. Let's see what oil is doing. So oil on a daily chart, oil had a breakout off of the daily chart. Now you can see kind of that high wave candle. That's USO, on a daily chart. It's kind of got a high wave candle. You want to see if it can hold that 1316 level come next week. Let's take a look at a weekly chart. You can see kind of, again, right there, this pivotal middle high wave candle here. This is a possible double bottom pattern. So this may be looking to do a double bottom weekly breakout, possibly. But it could also come down and retest these levels. So you got to watch and see if it can hold that 1316 level, then see if it can move up to that 1390s level and continue and see if it'll break out further. So that's just kind of guys, this is the stuff that we teach every day. We show in our community, in our trade room. Again, we have a trade room. We have several different diverse traders that teach and stream live each day. We show all different trading styles, whether it's day trading, swing trading, long-term trading. We do real-time alerts right here. We do our setups there each night. We do post our daily and swing trade watch list over here, which Angel will be doing for Monday. Thank you, Angel. And then we have several $1,000s worth of free courses over here. You can subscribe to our community up here, guys. I always say our pricing is a joke. What we charge for 1 month, actually what we charge for our yearly membership is the cost that most trading companies charge for 1 month. So you can come join us right now for the price of most trading companies, services for 1 month for a year. So we don't price gouge people. We're not like that. Those that have been following us, they know that. You know, if you are wondering if we're worth it or not, you could always read our reviews on Facebook. We have lots of positive reviews that you can come check us out. But again, we teach you a lot of this stuff. You can see by all the videos and all the courses right here, guys. We have several $1,000s worth of free courses to help you get started. So come and take them right over here to help you get started. So hopefully this video helped you guys. I just wanted to keep kind of going along, right? Because we're going to have lots of stuff going on. 2020 is going to be a very, very interesting year for all of us. So we like to track what's going on. At the moment, we have a warning on the chart saying possible reversal. Doesn't mean a crash. It could keep flying to the wind. We got to watch and see. All right, guys, you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all later. Enjoy.